People don't understand when we are in power, the battles we got to fight that you will never know.
But yet you're complaining that Tyra Banks made these women change their look. What the hell do you think modeling was about? Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I want to give you a little bit of an update. Okay, I just did a video about America's Next Top Model. There's a documentary that so many people are going in on Tyra Banks, America's Next Top Model. There were a lot of things that were revealed that people didn't know. And for a while, people have been saying that Tyra Banks is the villain, even though, in my opinion, there was another woman who to me was very harsh with a lot of the women. But, you know, a lot of people were shocked that Tyra didn't visit Miss J, who can no longer walk because he had a stroke. And a lot of people are saying that she isn't taking accountability, and that, you know, Tyra said that season 25 is coming and that she learned basically her lesson in a way, and that she was happy that she got called out. I had asked the question, do you think this is going to tarnish her legacy? Because look, there are people saying they're not even going to watch it after they found out that, well, things that happen in her relationships with J. Emanuel, Miss J, and some people are saying that Tyra is a narcissist and all this other stuff. And look, baby, I want to show you just a few videos real quick, about 3 or 4 of the aftermath of the documentary that's still on Netflix right now. And some people, you know, want to cancel Tyra. They don't like Tyra. They don't like parts of the show that they felt, you know, well, she did. They did edit some things like Shanny, you know, all types of stuff. So let's just get into it. Let's see what they're saying.
People don't understand when we are in power, the battles we got to fight that you will never know about. Never. To keep a show on the air, there are things that we have to do that people will tell us, if you want to stay on the air, this is what you got to do. And we got to weigh the options. And sometimes we make bad decisions and we look up and we go, in hindsight, maybe I should not have done it. I've been up all night watching Netflix's documentary about Tyra Banks and America's Next Top Model. When I tell you I was hooked, I understand why people are mad. I do understand. But I also say you have to understand the time that this all happened was in 2003. Reality TV was the wild, wild west back then. Every show was trying to outdo each other to stay on the air. We had people that were eating rats on Survivor. We had people getting in Nevada spiders on Fear Factor. Simon Cowell was telling people they sucked to their faces. I cannot forget that Tyra still, that was a young black woman trying to make it in the reality TV game. Like, it just, now we have a plethora of TV shows. We're not naive to what goes on behind the scenes in reality shows today. So we're trying to compare a time today that we know a lot to a time when there was nothing like this show on the air. We're not taking into account the battles that this black woman had to fight just to stay on the air for other people to come on the air. In the documentary, they said no network wanted to pick up the show except UPN. Everybody said no. As a woman who has pitched a bunch of shows and tried to get her own talk show, I understand that. Let me tell you something. I bet you if Heidi Klum had shopped the show around and every model looked like Gigi Hadid, it'd have been picked up immediately. Immediately. There's a lot of stuff that we did not know back then that would not have happened if this show aired now. People are blaming Tyra for allowing them to cut a black woman's hair wrong. I remember that when they cut the girls from New York and she was bald and they cut it, she had bald patches. We didn't have the sensitivities behind the scenes back then that we do now. Nowadays, if you have a black talent, they make sure to get black stylists. That's what we had to fight for, to get. What people don't understand is the battles that this woman probably had to fight just to keep it inclusive. She came to them saying, I want a diverse cast. I want black women. I want Latin women. I want plus size women. And everybody said no because the industry standard looked like one thing. So she couldn't protect everybody, nor did she own the show. Now, you know, so, and I'm not saying that the show didn't do terrible things, because it did. But I just want to think about it in the context of which it happened. And also, there was another thing. There was no social media back then to hold people accountable. Social media is good and it's bad, but what social media does is it advocates for people. If there had been, because like Shandy said, nobody gave me a cell phone. Shandy was off because she had slept with somebody other than her boyfriend, was in a jacuzzi with other men. They would have, now, if that show was on, they would have had an intimacy coach. They would have had psychologists and therapists on the show to help these girls. Back then, they didn't know about any of that. So that's what I'm saying. It was a different time, and there were battles that she was fighting, because you always think about the long game. I want the show to stay on the air. I want more black women to come on. I want more plus-size women. You remember Isis? When Isis came on the show, Isis was trans, I believe. She would not have made it on season 1. They would not have let her be on that show. You remember Winnie Harlow? Mama, you know I know you. I'm passionate about what I'm saying. Winnie Harlow is an amazing woman with vitiligo. Back then, in the first season, she probably would not have made it. But what we know now, we love the trans community. We accept our skin now. But back then, when I tell you the battles, people don't understand. When we are in power, the battles we gotta fight that you will never know about. Never. To keep a show on the air, there are things that we have to do that people will tell us, if you want to stay on the air, this is what you got to do. And we got to weigh the options. And sometimes we make bad decisions, and we look up and we go, in hindsight, maybe I should not have done it, but I just want to open the door and give a platform to people who look like me.
Not one god doggone lie was just told. What did I say yesterday or the day before yesterday? I said people keep thinking that Tyra Banks had all this power. She doesn't. There is a hierarchy. Black women still go through it because they don't run things, okay? And Tyra Banks help open the door. Like she said, you didn't see any models with vitiligo. No, the hell you didn't. You didn't see a lot of diverse models all the time. Asian, plus size, and a number of black women, okay? Even having the trans model on there. You didn't see stuff like that. That is a fact, okay? And I had said the other day, multiple things could be true, but I'm not going to sit here and let everybody try to target Tyra Banks like she was the worst thing ever, okay? I noticed that today, a lot of stuff that we used to see, everybody's on this woke thing and has to, everybody gets a lot of people attack people. Everybody's oversensitive. Now, being woke is not bad. I do notice that there's a lot of changes. People taking accountability. The Me Too movement, of course, I support all of that. And like she said, it was a different time. Okay? The show was a hit for a damn reason. Every time you watch the show, it wasn't something traumatic happening that was like, oh my God, this is so wrong. That didn't happen on every damn episode. You probably got like 3 or 4 things at the most. Okay, but people are trying to go all in on Tyra Banks, and I'm not saying she's completely innocent, like I said the other day, but Tyra Banks did open the door. She changed lives. Yes, the hell she did. And people are not going to sit up here and lie on Tyra Banks. Everything Sherri Shepherd just said is 100% the damn truth. Plain and simple. That's how I feel. Now, look, yes, people, look, I don't like that she didn't visit Miss J. A lot of people said, how could you know him when you were 16? He helped teach you how to walk. And maybe they weren't the bestest of friends, but that's not the impression people got. And well, from what he's saying, baby, a lot of people are upset. They're like, look, this is showing us her character. He had a stroke in 2022. It was 2026. Where are you? Where were you? And they don't like it. So let's look a little bit more with a few more video clips real quick.
Fans felt that Tyra did not take accountability. It's been a lot of backlash online and everywhere. What should Tyra do?
Well, wow, yeah.
Actually, she answered. She should answer questions.
She should answer the questions. they ask her?
I mean, look, I'm not her publicist.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure who her publicist is, but that being said, you know, I think the reality is, and how we approached it, is just to be absolutely honest with it, and it's okay. It's okay to admit that you made a mistake. It's okay to say, I'm sorry. It's okay to go, it wasn't right. And I know that, and we all know that. None of us are perfect. We were trying. There were lots of mistakes. Some things perhaps were even forced errors, right? As in, you know, what happened with Shandy, what happened with various contestants that shouldn't have happened, in my opinion. Like, that production really didn't do the right thing.
Right. In 2022, you had a stroke.
Yes.
And you are, I want to say, ask you, how are you doing now? You're a walking miracle here.
I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. I was paralyzed. And then one day, I spent a year and 5 months in recovery. So I was inside the hospital. But then they came to visit me, as well as Angela Bassett, just dropping names. And Alfred Witter, Lisa Nash, who called me yesterday, by the way. And then along with, you know, just George Lopez.
Yes.
So they all came to visit me. And but Tyra didn't.
Tyra has not. You know, okay, so Miss J, Tyra has not reached out to you.
No, she reached out to me.
She reached out to you.
Recently.
You better let Miss J talk.
Just saying.
She did. What did she? Can we ask what she said when she reached out to you?
Just hey, I'm in New York. I'm in LA. Okay. And
you know, you've known Tyra. You helped Tyra. Wow, it's been.
But she reached out to me when it first happened.
Okay.
So, you know, she just.
Did she come to see you?
Okay, so look at the face that he's making. No, she has not come to see me. And that look says it all, baby. We all know what that look means. And, you know, a lot of people are like, Tyra is just trifling. Tyra is trifling for this. Like, we can't believe Tyra is doing this to him. That's how people feel. And other people are saying, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. And people are like, oh, they were co-workers, but they've known each other since she was 16. And even if they were just co-workers, I mean, he had his stroke. I don't know. It's rubbing people the wrong way. Okay. Now we have Eva Marcille. Her life was changed because of Tyra Banks, and she is fully aware of that. You will not really find her bad-mouthing Tyra Banks, because Tyra Banks, this show, the opportunity that was given to her changed her life. This is just a fact. She is one of the most, to me, she's the most successful one off the show. Now you see her on TV shows. She models. She's wealthy. I mean, it put her in spaces that she couldn't get in, and she's been doing the damn thing. So let's see what she had to say about this.
Amazingly horrifying for the stories. I've lived my experience. I've walked in my shoes. And though there is a level of relatability, assume someone having walked in the same shoes, I had absolutely no idea.
The docuseries, you say you were in awe when you watched it because you didn't know what was going on. It details many controversial moments, from the alleged sexual assault that happened to eating disorders to models being put in blackface, or one model who
were bullied.
People who were bullied. Do you think that the judges and the producers had a role in creating this type of environment, even if you never saw it?
Absolutely. That environment could not exist without producers aiding and abetting what was going on. Done in reality now on every level.
Yeah.
Housewives. I don't know what's going on in someone's life unless the producer. Part of how this thing works. At the time, we were kids trying to find our dreams realized and actualized by a woman that we believed could do that for us. And if she could see it in us, then the world would see it in us, because the world sees it in her.
Yeah.
So it was just a TV show
Yeah.
to win a competition.
Yeah. And we appreciate you coming in and adding a little bit more texture to this very.
I will never fail to thank Tyra.
Yeah.
What Tyra set out to do in this business, I will always say, and especially for top initially, she set out to change the world, to change what the modeling industry looked like, sounded like, felt like, and expected.
Yeah.
She apologized a million times. But an apology to the person that you wronged is only as good as they could appreciate it. And so for the young girls that were sexually assaulted, for the young girls that now have disorders or look at themselves and never feel beautiful, that little girl in them that will always live in the woman that is. There is no sorry, I think, that's big enough to truly feel and heal that kind of hurt.
Yeah. Well said.
Because something in my bones told me, you a green-eyed monster. I knew something was up. Something in my bones wasn't sitting right. Now, we just did a video on Eva sitting down talking about her experience on America's Next Top Model. And she goes on to explain, you could simply watch the video, but Eva goes on to explain that her experience was wildly different from the other girls. But according to Tiffany, she said not so fast. Now, about 42 minutes ago, Tiffany had posted this on her IG. She tags Eva and she said, Eva was a bully. She goes on to say she was just as fake as Tyra, and the way they treated her, we all knew she would win. She goes on to say she was light-skinned with green eyes, so y'all ate that ish up with y'all brainwashed. She goes on to say she made so many girls on the show feel like ish, and Tyra knew it, but let me shut up, cause y'all gonna say I'm hating or whatever. Now she wraps up her statement and says, just because you're on TV don't make you successful. Did she buy a house yet? Or she's still renting? Let me shut up because I'm renting too. I know they're going for the low in Atlanta. Never mind. Now, I told you in the previous video that the way that Eva had stated that, oh, we were in this club, I knew she wasn't talking about the other contestants. It's very clear from the language that Eva used in that CBS Morning interview that she was definitely separated from the other girls, whether that means that she knew ahead of time that she was going to be the fan favorite or whatever. But just Eva's interview alone made me feel like, oh, she was completely separated from the other contestants. How? I don't know, but Eva knew. And if I'm going to listen to anybody, I'm going to listen to the contestants who were traumatized the most. Now, if Tiffany says anything else, I'm going to keep y'all posted.
Oh, there she go, bringing up Eva's skin tone and eyes and everything. Okay, now I'm not saying that Eva was 100% perfect on that show because I watched it, baby. Okay, and there was some drama on there, but if that was the case, what she just said, Nick Pace would have won. Nick Pace would have won. As a matter of fact, let me get that picture up of Nick Pace again. Let me make sure that I still have it because I talked about it and how so many people were shocked, absolutely shocked that she didn't win because she was the better choice. This is a fact. This is an absolute fact. Okay, Nick Pace, excuse me, y'all. This is her. Okay. Tiffany wants to try to throw in the colorism stuff and eye color stuff. How, girl, please. If that were the case, then Nick would have won. If that were the case, because she has light hazel eyes and she has lighter skin. She's very beautiful, and everybody thought she was supposed to win. She was the better choice. She was a better model. She had better pictures. She had a better walk. She looked better, but she didn't pick her to win. So I'll have to disagree with her on that. Okay. Eva won. Eva is the most successful out of all of them. And Tyra Banks put a lot of dark-skinned women on that show to have representation. So don't try to play the colorism card against Tyra Banks because she was doing what nobody else was doing during that time. Even had Asian women on there and Indian women. You don't see them being promoted in the modeling industry. Okay, just don't lie. All right, so and I'm not saying there could not have been clicks behind the scenes. I'm not going to say that can't be true. I said multiple things can be true. Okay, so Let's see what else is being said.
America's Next Top Model wasn't just a reflection of the times. It's a reflection of how the model industry operates. And I would know because I was a professional model for 8 years. Let's talk about it while I get ready. It has occurred to me that a lot of y'all are new here and don't know I used to model. Girl, I've done countless beauty campaigns, a few national commercials, child. Had my face posted on billboards and storefronts. Initially, it was tough for me to get signed. I heard a lot of no's. And the no's were because of 2 reasons. One reason was because agencies said I needed to lose weight. Mind you, I was the skinniest I've ever been in my entire life. Literally living off of oatmeal soup and cardio. And they were still like, skinnier. And the second reason was because they already had someone with my look. After doing some extensive research on the model board, I scrolled through the 50 blonde women and the 40 brunette women to see one other black woman. So having a model with my look was code for saying they had another black model. This was all end of 2016, beginning of 2017. By spring 2017, I ended up signing with a very reputable agency. I ain't gonna name names because I don't want nobody coming after me, Chad. The comments about the weight still kept coming. Imagine sitting in a boardroom with 4 agents and them telling you, yeah, we should do something about your hip size. It's literal bone. I can't do anything about my hips. I was a size 4. And then 2019 happened, and then all of a sudden it was cool to have hips. But then eventually the pendulum swung, child, and then we ended up right back to where we started, which is one of the reasons why I left the modeling industry. The modeling industry as a whole just needs a lot of work. These agencies take their time to pay their models. Every time I ask about a payment, oh, we just received payment from the client. Really? No, that payment has been sitting there. Although Tyra was exaggerated in ANTM, she symbolizes how agencies are. I've been signed to a few agencies, so I'm not talking about one specific one, but if you feel like I struck a chord and I'm talking about you, don't get mad, just do better. My advice for models coming into the industry, find an agent who works for you. Especially as a black woman, find someone who advocates for you, and then your experience as a model might be better. And if you're a new model in the industry, don't ever be afraid to ask for your money, baby. You worked for it, ask for it. And if the agency makes you feel bad for asking for your money, they're being unreasonable, not you. Okay, that's all. Bye.
Okay, now we have Janice Dickinson. Like I said, this is a nasty woman. That woman talked to those women for filth, but everybody and their mama want to keep trying to just gang up on Tyra Banks as if this woman wasn't nasty as hell. Okay, a nasty mouth, telling some women to get nose jobs and all types of stuff. So, okay.
Janice Dickinson, we all need you to be honest. And we all know you can be.
America's next nasty judge.
They take this the right way. You got to work on the thigh. Face is good, foot bad.
Janice Dickinson is telling her side of the story, and it's not what you heard on America's Next Top Model Netflix documentary. But she is doing the expose on E! Now remember, Janice was a judge on America's Next Top Model for the first 4 seasons. She was there from the beginning. And when Janice was released from the show after 4 seasons, it's because of scheduling conflicts. But Janice was not quiet, immediately talking about how Tyra tortured these women just for her ego. She also said that America's Next Top Model was nothing but an acting job for her. She was playing the role of Simon Cowell. If you know, you know. Basically, she was supposed to be mean and rude. That's what she was paid to do. If you watch the Netflix documentary, you could tell Tyra was involved with production. This was a way for her to say her side of the story. And according to reps from Janice Dickinson, she was not even asked to participate. The Netflix documentary did allow former contestants to speak their piece, talk about what they went through on the show, and some of it was really bad. But I think we can all agree we felt like there was no accountability from Tyra. The only time she said, I went too far, was when she was talking about yelling at a contestant. Not when a contestant was essayed and filmed. Not how she pressured girls into permanently changing their appearance. And she definitely didn't talk about how Adrienne Curry never got the prizes she was promised. So Janice Dickinson, please come to the front. We need you to be unfiltered. So I want you to say, what do you want Janice to talk about? What do you hope she covers in this? What wasn't covered in the Netflix documentary that should have been? Leave your thoughts in the comments.
Oh, please, a little bit to that talk. Now she's trying to make it sound like she was paid to be mean. I've watched her I have watched her in other interviews speaking about totally different stuff. This is not a nice woman. The woman got a smart mouth. Okay, from what I have seen. And I have to laugh at something real quick because of what I just heard that woman say. Okay, I definitely had to say this real quick again with what I just saw with that video. Do you know who this is? This is Linda Evangelista. She is one of the top models in history. Okay, her, Naomi Campbell, Cindy Crawford, there were about 4 or 5, okay? And let me tell you something. A lot of the talking like that woman just talked. People are always saying that the 90s models were elite. Yes, they were. But yet you're complaining that Tyra Banks made these women change their look. What the hell do you think modeling was about? You have to be versatile. You have to adapt. You have to be willing to change your look for the designers. That's why Linda Evangelista is called the chameleon. She was the top model. Her hair color and haircuts and hairstyles were always changing. And that's why she became legendary in the industry. This is a fact. So seeing that woman, and I'm sure she didn't mean any harm, but seeing some of them complaining right now, maybe Gen Z and Alpha watching the show and, oh, how could you make somebody do this and that, change their look? Because that's what models have to do. At least that's what they used to do. Maybe times have changed, but if a designer wanted you to wear a certain hairstyle, certain type of makeup, that's what you do. You do your job. You are there to model the clothes and represent it and the look that they are going for. So to try to target Tyra Banks and complain that she had women cut their hair and do different looks, she was preparing them for the industry during that time. Maybe it's changed now, but look, not too long ago, you had to be able to wear different hairstyles and all types of stuff that they do. Okay, especially look, Linda Evangelista. So I find it very weird and strange, people complaining that Tyra made them do these different looks and different hair colors, cutting their hair or wearing extensions. Do you not know what industry you're trying to get in? Please just miss me with that one. Okay, so let's get a little bit more into it.
If I never spoke with Tyra again in this lifetime, I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with it. I don't need it.
Do you miss the friendship?
I don't
expect to see Tyra Banks and Jay Manuel together anytime soon because Jay is not counting on a reunion, and Tyra seemed almost offended when they asked about Jay in the documentary.
Can we talk now about what happened with you and Jay?
I prefer. I should call Jay. I don't want to do this here. Yeah.
Let's talk about why Jay and Tyra had a big falling out, because after cycle 8 of America's Next Top Model, Jay felt like he was done. He was ready to move on and he wanted to leave the show. But Tyra was furious when she found out that he wanted to leave. But Tyra had no plans on canceling the show, and she wasn't going to let Jay go either, so she made him stay for 10 more cycles, but their friendship was over. She refused to even speak to him unless it was on camera. Jay tried to be a good sport and play along until he was ultimately fired. He also learned that Tyra was coming out with a talk show. At that point, he realized, wait, I actually gave Tyra Banks that idea to have a talk show, and she ultimately went to go with the network to create this talk show without him, even though he came up with the concept. It just seems like Tyra liked being in control of Jay, and Jay actually said that he could see Tyra's personality phoniness break in the documentary whenever they asked her about him because she wasn't prepared.
First time I saw her in the doc respond without this prepared answer, we got to see a bit of a break in the personality, Tyra.
Did you see any accountability from Tyra in the documentary?
The words I'll use, because I'm probably the one person in that entire documentary that knows an extremely personal side to her, more so than Ken Mock. Unfortunately, I think what people saw was a very prepared television Tyra. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know the real Tyra. She says it in the doc, sleeping over at my house. She hates hotels. So when she was in New York, she was at my home. Or if I was in LA, I was at her home. And there's so much that's still to this day, I keep in confidence, and I will forever keep in confidence. But I say all this to say there is a very strong woman who has been through a lot. If she had brought that vulnerability and the person that I know to the table, I think the world would have been much more receptive to the human being sitting in the documentary. But what we got was her armor. Mm-hmm. Honestly, that's what you got, because I know her. Mm-hmm. And the only time you see her break that is when Moore, one of the directors, pushes the envelope and asks her straight up, is maybe now a good time to talk about what happened with you and Jay? and you see her break. That's the only time she breaks in the doc.
Yeah.
And I wish she would have been able to speak to those girls, because Danny's voice, Kenya's voice, Shandy, all of their voices, I think this would have been an amazing opportunity for her to really speak to these powerful women who chose to come forward, and she didn't.
Okay, so that is it for the update of what people are saying. And maybe Tyra feels a lot of pressure. Maybe she feels ganged up on. Maybe she will say something. Maybe she will say something, because this is affecting her legacy. And look, she's a top Black American supermodel, one of the last, in my opinion, that we've really seen. And this would be a shame. I think she should publicly say something. A lot of people say she's not taking accountability, she's running away, and she shouldn't do that. Just face it, and that would be a great thing for her to do. In my opinion, she should. I think she should go on the Sherri Shepherd show and talk about it. I think that before she does that, she should speak to some of the women in the documentary, okay, and like Shandy, and speak to them, make some things public. I'm not saying she has to say everything, but her legacy and brand is literally being destroyed, and this is just a shame to witness, to be honest, okay? I see both sides of everything. I'm not saying Tyra Banks is 100% innocent. I don't know some of the personal things that happened between her and J. Manuel. Perhaps there's something that happened between her and Miss J that's not being said. I'm not sure, okay? But I'm not gonna sit up here and pretend like Tyra isn't who she is, as far as what she built, what she did during that time, and that it was the #1 show all over America. Okay. And she says she can look back and see that there were some mistakes that were made. And, I'm thinking about TV right now, how you have the Zeus Network, you have all these ratchet shows out and everything like that, it's not even as Tyra Banks' show, America's Next Top Model, was not even as ratchet as a lot of the things that you see. Okay. She was trying to get them prepared for modeling. Yes, you have to change your look. Yes, you have to do things with your hair. Yes, you have to wear different styles. Yes, you have to maintain your damn weight. I mean, what planet are people living in? I do think that women should not have to be a size 00 or a 0, a size 4, and being 5'8", 5'9" should be okay. That's not too big. I do feel like they need to have more Black hairstylists, which some of them do now, but that's still an ongoing issue. Things still need to change. And Tyra Banks did something that no Black model no model period in America. I mean, this was before Heidi Klum's show and everything. Like, I give Tyra Banks her flowers about it. And I'm not saying everything was perfect. What we found out about Shandy was not cool, and I don't support that. Okay, the way they made it seem was like she cheated on her boyfriend. That's what we all saw. Now we're finding out something different, okay? But all I can say right now, y'all, is Lord, oh my goodness. So, baby, what do y'all all have to say to this? I think that the smart and the right thing to do, Tyra should just give a public statement, okay? She should give a public statement, even if she visits Miss J right now. It's going to still bother people, because they're like, oh, are you visiting him now that so many people are upset about it that you didn't visit that man? So that's all I have to say, y'all. There's so much, like Sherri said, and I already know, and I'm not even in the industry like that. Baby, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that y'all don't even know about, that these women go through, okay? And I'm tired of people acting like, stop, get a reality check. Black men and women do not run the industry. Everybody answers to somebody. There are hierarchies, and I'm here to tell you that, okay? That's just the reality. Some of you act like they run the show and you think they can just do what they want. No, they can't. Unless it's their company, and even sometimes when it's their company, they still have to answer to other people who dominate in marketing and publishing, all types of stuff that y'all don't hear about. Stop living in delusion. Y'all want to think something, some of y'all out here, something that is not true, but your heart can't take the truth about certain stuff, okay? You can have all the integrity in the world And it still doesn't change the damn truth, the reality. Okay? And I hope things change. I hope that we get more power. But the way things are, you will be working with other people who have more power than you, more access than you, and run more things than you. Okay? So, yes, you have to take accountability. Yes, you can make changes. Yes, I think she should apologize for some stuff. Okay? But it has to be when she's ready and not bullied on like this, in my opinion. That's what's probably bothering her. You know, give her an opportunity respectfully, you know, to be able to and stuff. So we shall see what happens from this. I just wanted to share this with you. Please like, share, and subscribe, everybody. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.